Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Kyoto. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian David Marshall, and we are ready for the semifinals. Luis Scott Vargas has led this tournament wire to wire at this point. He'll be taking his black-white tokens deck into battle against Brian Robinson. Robinson, a rookie, playing in his first Pro Tour ever. He's been playing Magic for seemingly half of his life. Finally managed to break through and win a PTQ, and now here he is, not only playing on day 2 of the Pro Tour, but on day 3 in the semifinals against the best player in the game right now. Robinson has got a homebrew. He's the only player in the tournament with his sort of Doran of the many colors deck.
We have not seen many decks with Ancient Ziggurat this weekend.
Fair. Players have raced out ahead, by the way. Luis Scott Vargas resolved Bitter Blossom on his second turn, and
oh my gosh,
on the other side of the table,
14.
Take 14.
Doran, Rafiq of the many, he just attacked for 14 on turn 3.
And quickly,
turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 Doran, turn 3 Rafiq of the many. Luis gets a Fairy Rogue token from Bitter Blossom, and now, okay, here's Tide Hollow Sculler. Does he want the other Rafiq, or does he want Bird of Paradise?
Well, he's going to take the Bird of Paradise, I think.
I mean, Rafiq's a legend, so that card is trapped in hand.
Depends on whether or not he has a removal spell for the Rafiq. Takes the birds, yep.
Takes the bird. Wow.
Might not matter, might be blocking. Wow.
Unbelievable. This is the plan. Robinson drew it up, right? He's got Bird of Paradise and Noble Hierarch, so he's going to be playing a mana fixer / accelerator on the first turn, and then on turn 2, his deck is full of awesome 3-mana creatures.
Yeah.
Doran, Rock's Warmonk. He's going to play one of those guys, so those are better than anybody else is capable of playing on turn 2.
His backup plan is to go to 80 again.
Rafiq heads in. Okay, Rafiq's Exalted ability not kicking in this time. Instead, it's Rafiq and Doran and Noble Hierarch.
Because of Doran, the Noble Hierarch is also getting in for 1.
Yep.
Jump block. Go to 4. Go to 3 from your 4. Bitter Blossom.
Wow. Bird of Paradise comes out. Bird of Paradise. Fully capable of attacking for damage.
Something else up there, too.
All right, Bitter Blossom chips away. Robinson sporting the Doug Mirabelli Boston Red Sox World Series champion jersey.
Knight of the Metagrain.
Metagrain. Life gain would be nice.
First strike, so he gets to gain life before.
Yeah, but Doran is still gigantic.
Yep. He's on Bitter Blossom's on force field duty.
Yeah.
Stack with everything.
Yeah, smash.
So, block with Knight of Metagrain, gain 2 life. That's the most indecision I've seen from Luis all weekend.
It's like he hasn't faced down Doran Rafiq 100 times somehow.
Go ahead.
Wow, how does Luis get out of this?
5, goes to 4.
Yeah, scoop. Wow.
Turn 2 guy.
That's the plan. Brian Robinson takes a quick game 1. He now leads to the best player in the world. Luis Scott Vargas trying to win a second Pro Tour in the last 6 months.
To a resounding silence from the crowd.
3.5 minutes is the time from the official scorekeeper. That's about as fast as it took Luis to win his first game in the quarterfinals. Oh, that was 2.5 apparently.
So just some of the name players Brian beat along the way. Like if he was, nervous at all about playing on the Pro Tour, his first round opponent, Frank Karsten.
Wow. Welcome to the Pro Tour. Beat him.
His first round of Standard on day 2, Gabriel Nassif of 5 color control.
Beat him. Yeah, Brian Robinson went 7-1 with this deck. And then what, 4-2 in draft?
4-2 in draft. He lost to Luis Scott Vargas.
In draft?
In draft.
Yeah, I saw him. He went straight to the top of the standings with 4-0 in the first standard rounds, and then drafting in one of the top pods. Got himself a feature match. Lost the feature match. I believe I think all 3 of his losses were feature matches.
He lost to Cedric Phillips.
No, the Cedric Phillips was not featured. But
playing Kithkin, lost to Thomas Dreesen and Luis Scott Vargas.
Yeah, and he and Dreesen were among the last couple of undefeateds in the tournament. So. Now, after sideboarding, we think that this helps Luis, right?
I believe so. I mean, he again has more weapons. He has, Wrath of God. He's got Path to Exile. It seems, both seem quite solid for him. Looking at what Brian Robinson is bringing in, it doesn't really look like much of anything. His sideboard does not seem well suited to this matchup, and he thinks this is a bad matchup for him. He said, I'm not good against tokens.
Yeah, I saw, what was the quote? His deck is good against everything except decks with red and decks with tokens?
Yes.
What tournament are you playing in?
AKA the top 8.
It's like, I guess he could have built it to beat 5-color control and fairies, but...
Fairies has tokens.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll go first.
His deck does that, though. I watched the match against Cedric Phillips, and that was what the second game looks like. Cedric Phillips died in about 4 minutes.
If you've ever drafted, I mean, sometimes you get that draft deck.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, oh, my mana turned out really great. Turn 3 Rocks Warmog, turn 4 Rafik the Many. You generally win those games.
Yes,
so you have 4 of each.
And you have Noble Hierarch, birds.
Sure. Go.
All right, both players keep their 7-card hands, and we are off to the races in game 2.
Bird or no?
Of course.
The bird.
Is it 2 Caves of Koilos for Luis?
Yes.
Pick one. Go.
Takes 1 for a Bitter Blossom.
All right, what's it going to be this time?
Okay.
Gaddock-Teeg. No 3rd land. No 3rd mana, no 2nd land.
Gaddock-Teeg, we've talked about the big card in this matchup.
Yeah, it's relevant. It means no Spectral Procession. It means no Ajani Vengeance.
No Johnny Goldman.
Sorry, Johnny Goldmane.
No Johnny Vengeance, too.
Wow. Sorry.
Take 2.
2 damage for Knight of Meadowgreen.
Go.
So it sounds like Luis...
Scattershot Archer?
Yeah.
What is,
Scattershot Archer, when it taps, deals 1 damage to all creatures with flying. It doesn't do a lot here against 2/2 tokens. Though.
It's funny, Luis actually sideboarded out a couple of his Glorious Anthems.
Yeah.
And a couple of his Ajani's. So Scattershot Archer could have
looks like he brought in Wrath of God, Path to Exiles.
Right. Now it makes sense for me that Luis would take out some of his enhancers, given that he's boarded into a Wrath of God removalish plan.
Right.
Also took out his Tide Hollis colors. So he's expecting to have to sweep the board and doesn't necessarily want to commit 1,000,000 tokens to it and then wrath his own guys away, so less investment in the enhancement of Glorious Anthem and Ajani. But he drew one of the 2 Glorious Anthems that are left, and it's exactly what he wanted against Scattershot Archer. Yeah, note that Gaddock-Teeg is also turning off Wrath of God.
Interestingly, the Scattershot Archer is also, I believe, kills the bird. I believe it's both sides.
Just 7. D2. Go.
See if we can get a shot at what he took out. So it sounds like Brian actually sided out his Rafiks.
Really?
Yeah. Sided out his Rafiks to bring in the Scattershot Archers and the Path to Exiles. Those Rafiks brought out a Tide Hollow Scholar, just sort of pick and choose a couple cards here and there. Oh,
Take one.
there's a Wilt Leaf Liege. Now his bird will live through the.
Yep.
Give 6.
But that Glorious Anthem is still getting a lot of good work done.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Nothing that Robinson could do. So LSV evens things up at a game apiece. Brian Robinson had the Trace Buster. Scattershot Archers could have shot down all those Bitter Blossom tokens, but Luis had the Trace Buster.
He does
Glorious Anthem means
he doesn't really have
2/2s.
an answer for the Glorious Anthem. Or for the Gun and Goldmane if it gets moved.
It's interesting that Luis sideboarded those out. He looks like he's going back and thinking about changing it up a little bit. Yeah, Glorious Anthem seemed really important there.
Yeah. Yeah, it just...
And, I mean, Robinson showed him the Archers. So Luis got to see firsthand just how crucial those Glorious Anthems were. How would you sideboard if you're LSC?
I think I would bring the Glorious Anthem back in.
Okay.
Seems like he's got to fight, and he really just needs to race, right? I mean, he wants to get his tokens in, get them as big as possible, get them and not lose to a Scattershot Archers. Although he has so much targeted removal. Again, he's got the paths, he's got the Wrath, he's got the Terrors. So maybe the Scattershot Archers aren't going to be that relevant. He's got 8 targeted removal spells.
If you're racing, though, then you're not really playing a Wrath of God game.
Right. Right, I'm saying, but he also has the single, the targeted removal.
Right, Paths and Terrors. Path, Terror, and Race sounds better to me. I don't know that this is a Wrath matchup.
Right.
I think I'd rather have Glorious Anthem than Wrath.
But Wrath also does let you you have the opportunity sometimes to just shut down all his mana.
Very good card.
He has 2 lands, two elves.
Kill the bird in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Too bad I couldn't draw that second land. 2 Dwayne in my hand.
Oof.
Luis had Celestial Purge in his hand. Luis takes
You
note.
the textbook perfect start? Textbook, yes. Oh, it's supposed to go, right?
I don't know that they actually wrote about this deck in the textbook.
They wrote about Bird Doran.
Yeah.
Bird Doran is in the textbook.
Yeah. The Rafik part is.
That's new.
A little wince from Luis as he looks at his hand.
Yeah.
But they both keep. There's the bird. Chapter 1.
Go.
Cane Sanctum from Luis Scott Vargas.
Take one.
Chapter 2. Doran.
Go.
Turn 2 Windbrisk Kites. By the way, to show how much we know, Rich Hagon has watched to see how Luis adjusted his deck for this game.
Yep.
Took out another Glorious Anthem in favor of a Knight of Metagram.
Take 7.
I take...
Wow.
I take 2. No, 2, right.
2 pain in order to get the Wilt Leaf Liege into play. Oh, is that Path to Exile?
Yes, it is.
That's gigantic. Doran, instead of dealing 7, deals 0. Oh, interesting. On the other table, Gabriel Nassif has managed to get multiple walls into play, but Johnny Vengeance up to 7 counters. That's not what the $5 deck is looking for.
Wall, he needs, what was the card that let walls at the Rolling Stones?
Here's Kitchen Fix.
Go.
To 22.
Okay. 5.
5 cards in hand for Luis.
Wiltleaf Liege is bigger than Kitchen Finks by just a little bit.
And Wiltleaf Liege is not a crusade for all green and white creatures.
Other
it's
green and white
yours.
creatures you control, of course, definitely.
So Bird gets in there for 1.
So I gain 1. Gain 1.
Net result for Luis is 1 point of life as the Kitchen Finks persists back. No play. Robinson.
That's not Chapter 3. I don't think that's the Chapter 3
He'll be sitting back on Nameless Inversion or Path Exile himself there. So the only instance he has.
Potentially trying not to get wrecked by a Wrath of God.
Or,
His hand could suck.
yeah.
There's always that.
And
Here's Bitter Blossom.
Go.
Caddick Teague, Bird of Paradise, Wiltleaf Liege. Land, which you just played. Oh, I ended on the land. Okay.
Play Wiltleaf Liege, get in for 2.
You really get wrecked by Wrath of God if you play it that way, right? But maybe he has to.
Well, he could play Gaddock Teague also, and Wiltleaf Liege, and then not get in for 2. Gaddock
like
Teague
that
would shut
play.
off the Wrath.
Yeah, I think with that hand, Gaddock Teague, Wiltleaf.
Lock from
Interesting.
Luis.
So there's the Gaddock Teague.
The 4/4 Gaddock Teague.
I don't know about that Bird of Paradise attack versus playing another Wiltleaf Liege.
Here comes Cloud Goat. Yep.
Cloud Goat. Go.
Those Windbrisk Kites are turned on next turn.
Yep.
So you can see the vulnerability of Robinson's deck to the token.
Sure.
Plan. He just
Yeah, he needs to attack through, but those
he has
tokens-
just no way to sweep back.
Right.
And all of his cards come out just one at a time. Very old-fashioned creatures, not these newfangled ancestral creatures.
There are a lot of token creatures in this top 8.
There are a lot of token types in this top 8.
True.
Right.
Dragons and Kithkin and Fairy Roads. Goblins, spirits, soldiers. Well, there's Brian Robinson. He is playing in his first Pro Tour ever. Finally won a PTQ after years